Hey, what's up? It's Jared with State of Tech, and I have some in-flight Wi-Fi tips for you. Now, if you're like me, you get on an airplane, and if you're going to be there for more than an hour or two, you want some Wi-Fi. I typically use my time on an airplane to get some things done, make sure that I don't get behind on email, or just do mundane tasks that do require Wi-Fi, but I don't want to have to do sitting behind my desk. And so when I fly, I end up connecting to Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi typically works pretty consistently depending on what plane that you're on or which airline that you're flying. Now, I usually fly Virgin America because the places that I fly, Virgin America goes to, and they're just a little bit roomier planes and a little bit more modern planes. But nonetheless, I did end up just flying United back from Mexico. Not as updated of a plane, but it still had Wi-Fi. But the problems that I always have on Wi-Fi are always solvable, and I always get myself into these situations where the Wi-Fi just seems extremely slow on the plane. Now, the reason that the Wi-Fi usually ends up being slow is because something my phone or my tablet is doing that I forgot to shut off or I let it do. Now, when our phones or tablets are connected to Wi-Fi, they typically do more things than when they're connected to cell phone data. If you've ever been in one of your apps and it says use Wi-Fi data only, that means that it's not going to use your data, and it will save everything that it has to do for when it connects to Wi-Fi. So I have some tips for you here on how to make sure that you are getting the best speeds that you can out of the Wi-Fi on your airplane. The first is going to be to make sure that all of your apps are updated before you even get on the plane. Sometimes you connect to Wi-Fi and it's going to start updating apps, maybe because it's been a day or two since the last time that you connected to Wi-Fi. And so you connect to Wi-Fi on an airplane, and the App Store or Google Play Store or whatever detects that you're connected to Wi-Fi, and it starts updating your apps. Now, that's data that's being used, and the airplane's only going to give you so much bandwidth. And so if you're updating apps and then you're trying to stream some music on Pandora or something like that, you're not going to have a good experience because those apps are updating in the background. And you might not even notice that it's doing that because these days the phones do it pretty silently. You kind of have to go into the App Store and even see on an iPhone, you don't really get a notification until the apps have been updated. On Google Play, typically it shows a notification that an app is updating, and so you have a little bit more information there to let you know that something's happening, but nonetheless, it can still go undetected if you have your screen off. So what I recommend doing is before you even get on the airplane, you either update all of your apps to make sure they're updated, or you turn off background updating altogether, and then that way you don't have to worry about them updating because that will bottleneck. And say you have 6 or 7 apps that need to be updated, it may take the duration of your flight to update those apps because they're pretty big sometimes. So another thing that you should do is turn off background updates for other things. So this would be a second tip, even though it kind of stems from the first tip. If you use photo backup apps, like you're letting your photos back up to Dropbox or Google Drive or Google Photos or any of the other apps that allow you to back up stuff like photos and videos, you'll want to make sure to turn that off altogether or make sure that all of your photos and videos are backed up before you get on that airplane, because when you connect to Wi-Fi, it will start to back up those photos and those videos, and those are big files. It could take the entire duration of your flight, if not longer, just to back those up. So instead of using the precious bandwidth that you have on that airplane, which is small, to back up photos and video, turn that off so that it's not wasting that time. I don't want to pay $8, $18, whatever it costs to get Wi-Fi on a plane for a single trip to back up photos when I can do that later. And even if you have if you have that enabled and you take a picture while on the plane, it's going to want to try and back that up right away because you're connected to Wi-Fi. So make sure to turn that off ahead of time. Now, if you are wanting to listen to music while you're on the airplane and do other things, don't stream the music, download the music first. Rather than using Pandora, use some other application that allows you to download the music and save it to your phone. For example, I use Google Play Music, whether I'm on my iPhone or my Android phone, and that allows you to save the music that you want to listen to offline so that you don't have to stream it. Spotify, if you have a membership with Spotify, it allows you to do the same thing. So does Apple Music. They all allow you to do the same thing. You just have to make your decision before you get on the airplane. So typically, and because our phones have so much storage, I have, 10 to 15 of my favorite albums downloaded, which is more than enough music for me to listen to on the plane. Essentially, I could hit shuffle and have Pandora with my favorite music right there, and it's playing music internally from my device instead of streaming it, which leaves all of the bandwidth on the airplane left for me to browse the web, respond to emails, and do anything else that I want to do while I'm on the plane. The last tip is just to make sure you close all the applications that are running on your phone. Now, this is going to be even more important for those of you that are on Android, because typically Android phones run a lot more processes in the background than an iPhone. When you leave an app opened, it could be doing something such as syncing data or connecting to servers or whatever in the background. So you're going to want to close out all of your apps. If you're on an iPhone, that means double tapping on your home button and swiping up on all of your applications to close them. If you're on an Android phone, it means hitting the multitask button and either swiping away on all those windows or tapping on the close all button to close all of those applications. Some phones on Android will require you to actually use like a cleaner plugin or something like that to make sure that all the processes are completely closed. So you'll want to do that for sure, because if you have processes running in the background that are connecting to the internet, because Wi-Fi, and phones look at Wi-Fi like a free-for-all. If a phone is connected to Wi-Fi, then it says do everything, sync this, back up that, store that, do whatever. And when it's connected to a Wi-Fi on a plane, it doesn't know the difference between the fact that you have super slow Wi-Fi on a plane and you have super fast Wi-Fi at home. You have to go and kind of choke your phone down and turn off all of those things that your phone thinks it should be able to do on Wi-Fi, but it can't because it's connected to in-flight Wi-Fi on a plane, which is just not powerful enough for you to do all the things. So, that's my recommendations to you, is to do that. So I hope that this video helped. I mean, it's such a bummer when you get on an airplane, you pay for the in-flight Wi-Fi, and then it just is super slow. It's most likely because one of your devices is doing multiple things. Now, as a last bonus tip, what I have noticed is that when you, on some flights, you can actually connect multiple devices, and that bandwidth restriction only counts towards the individual device. So I could be streaming music to Pandora from my phone and listening to music, and then using my tablet while being separately connected to Wi-Fi to browse the web and send email and stuff like that. So that's another workaround should you have multiple devices, and should the in-flight Wi-Fi allow you to connect multiple devices at once. But what I have seen is that more in-flight Wi-Fi is not allowing you to connect multiple devices at once. It's only allowing you to switch between devices and only use one device at the same time. So if that's the case, then use some of the tips that I just gave you on how to make sure that your phone is not doing anything with Wi-Fi other than the task at hand, what you want it to do. So thanks so much for checking out this video. Click on the thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this video and want to see more when we put them out. You'll get notifications in YouTube here when we have new videos put out. So thanks so much for checking out our video, and we hope to see you here soon on State of Tech. Thanks.